While I was transitioning to Web3, I was still working in the music industry. And at that time, it was like the pandemic. There were no concerts. There was no external activities. I was able to pitch a project of having like a music club within Meta. And this research that I did to make this happen actually brought me to the world of Web3.
Who can join DAOonboarding and what do they do there?
So when you join the DAO, you do your intro, you share about your skill set, and you share about the things that interest you. You get onboarded to the DAO itself, then you get onboarded to a the specific area that interests you, and slowly you will be seeing like the workflow, right? You'll observe, you're able to be there. You can get a guest pass to get into the server. Just be there, observe, learn, and when you're ready, whenever you feel ready, you can start, contributing.
How did you make the transition? How did you find your first Web3 client?
For a long time, I was doing both things. The first contributions I was able to do in the Web3 space were related to translations. So as a content creator, you can go in both and test it out because obviously you want to reach, in my case, I want to get more people to know about Web3. I can't just post on Web3 platforms. I have to post on Web2 platforms as well. But I just don't focus my income there. But obviously for the reach, we still have to use the Web2 platforms.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Thousand Faces Club. Today's guest is actively involved in the decentralized autonomous organization ecosystems, which is called DAO. With a passion for promoting the adoption and understanding of Web3 technologies, her expertise lies in community building and marketing within the blockchain space. There is a lot to unpack there. We'll do that. She leads marketing and partnerships at Bankless Academy and Web3 education ecosystem for self-sovereign individuals. Pretty interesting term. We'll come to that too. She was recently awarded a grant by DAOpunks, which has resulted in her own Web3 project called DAOnboarding. Let's onboard Ornella Vallana.
Thank you. How's it going? Thanks for the invitation.
Absolutely fine, and congratulations on DAOonboarding.
Thank you.
Before we come to that, let's unpack your introduction for our audience. Please tell us about yourself and your background as a Web3 educator, because that's really interesting.
Perfect. Absolutely. Yes. Web3 education has taken my life for the past 3 years. I got into this space during the pandemic while I was studying around blockchain, at home with not many external activities. So I decided to do some research on how to invest in something at that time. And that's how I found about the world of blockchain and Bitcoin and Ethereum. And what impacted me mostly was the fact of getting to know about decentralization. So during that time, I started learning even more about what does decentralization meant? Why would it be important to have a better world to coordinate better between humanity itself? So that kind of sparked the curiosity in me and started discovering all about it. So in that time, I went to different, type of content, right? So thank you to all the content creators at the time who did podcasts and research on the topic to learn more about it. And then through that area, I started applying my skill set, which is marketing, communications. I really love being with people, being a connector, making things happen, that type of thing. So this space has really allowed me to apply my skills with something that's more impactful for the world.
Right. So Ornella, you said that, during pandemic, you got into, all the things Web3, from NFTs to blockchain to, all the digital currencies. But a lot of people become, investors without, learning more about these things. I mean, we all know crypto, currencies, a lot of people in their fold. But you became an educator. So can we, differentiate the two terms? What's the difference between you and, let's say, somebody who's giving, investment advice?
Perfect. Yes. Well, none of this is investment advice or financial advice, of course. It's more a call to action to be, as you mentioned, and we'll get to that a bit deeper, to be a self-sovereign person. So getting to know about decentralization, the concept, why it's important, right? We start to learn about the tools of blockchain, how it helps us, achieve decentralization, and how it gives more fair opportunity for anyone in the world to participate in different financial instruments that today they only exist for a closed class. And this concept is what I seek to, help people learn more about, because there's this narrative right around crypto and around Web3 that's only related to the prices. And that is the narrative that we have to change. Like, blockchain is a tool that will help us coordinate better. It already is helping us coordinate
Yeah.
better as humanity. So this is the concept that we want to, push forward, educate on the why it's important, the how, and then also provide tooling courses. That's why I participate in the project Bankless Academy right now, which pushes free Web3 education for anyone who is just curious and wants to, learn about this interesting toolset.
Right. So, I mean, in a way, you're into the philosophy of Web3. You're there to expand the way of looking at Web3, how we are, interacting with it. And you mentioned this term twice so far, decentralized work. So, first of all, what is decentralized work?
Perfect. Yes, decentralized work is, imagine like a group of friends, right? But they're not just in the same place geographically, they're all over the world. So that there we touch the decentralized part in a geographical way. So we get together online, right? We have a certain mission or purpose or something that drives us together, and we work towards that. So we collaborate, we do proposals, it's like building blocks slowly, towards a mission or a certain goal. So the fact that it's decentralized, it's not only like geographically, but the community itself, there's no hierarchy. So there's like no boss, no CEO, everyone is like in the
Yeah.
same area, I'd say, right? But that doesn't mean that it's not organized. It is organized, coordinated. At the beginning, it could be not so much, but that's the whole beauty of it, of actually, this beautiful chaos, to learn how to organize ourselves without having someone to tell us exactly what to do, when to do it, without having that manual. So when you get humans together to coordinate, to work, right,
Yeah.
partner up with this freedom, a lot of different things and great things can happen.
Yeah.
And then on the way, you learn how to organize yourself, because you have people from different time zones in different languages. The tone, there's a lot of barriers to pass. So it's a great liberty. It's a great freedom to work together. And it has all these different types of touches, that we personally give to the work as a person,
Yeah.
right? From our background or skill set, from the way that we see the world. So when you get everything together, it's really amazing what you can find.
Yeah, true. I mean, look at us. English is not our first language for both of us. Still, we are trying to, communicate because we are passionate about creators, creator economy, Web3. So that's the
100%.
power of community. And I mean, if we take it, further, let's say on a deeper level, Ornella, what are you passionate about? Why do you want to connect with people who are, let's say, like you? Because you talked about a community where like-minded people are there. So at a personal level, what drives you?
Very much the fact of being able to, help others thrive and improve their lives. And also the fact of being able to share knowledge, not without the barrier of a geographical zone or an economical background. The fact that, in the digital space, let's say the metaverse, right? Because anything can be a metaverse, even your WhatsApp group chat, right? Telegram, whatever. That is also the metaverse. It's just type any type of interaction online, right? Without having these physical barriers, knowledge flows in a way that can really help others improve their lives, their skill set, not only in the more like working
Yeah.
concept, but also as a person, like advice, vibes, experiences, sharing, giving confidence to others. Like, for example, the same interview, it's like great to be able to share this. It gives you confidence to go out there, share your story, so that
Yeah.
others can listen and get inspired by it.
Yeah, absolutely. And talking of interviews and metaverse, we had the first metaverse interview of Mark Zuckerberg. Who else but Mark Zuckerberg with Lex Friedman? They used Oculus, and I mean, so fascinating. What lays in future, right? So that's just amazing. Speaking of, let's say some technical terms, because we gave a lot of, heavy terms in the introduction, starting with DAO, DAO. Please explain to our audience what is that.
Sure, we started talking about DAOs without explaining it. So yeah, happy to go
Yeah,
into that. So the term is decentralized autonomous organizations, which, the fact of decentralized, as we spoke, it's about the geographical aspect, mainly because there's no hierarchy, so there's no boss. So you have organizational units, but there's not like top, bottom, uh, levels, right? It's
hierarchy. Yeah, yeah,
actually
correct.
the total opposite. It's from the bottom up. So you have the community. The community has a mission or a goal, right? And this community needs certain things. And the community then builds or works on the things that they need.
Right,
So it's not like this one person, right? Or one group says, we need this. Everyone down the road should follow it. It's the whole opposite. It's the total opposite. So we have the community, we build towards it, and we achieve these goals. So
right,
that's the decentralized part of it. It's very community owned. Then the autonomous part is using the blockchain to be able to transfer our values, our decisions, our proposals, and our agreements into blockchain technology so that the information then stays like visible, transparent, public to everyone. And that is kind of the autonomous part. Some DAOs still have a lot of, human decision making that then gets applied to the blockchain. Maybe in the future it will be even more automatic, but at least for me, uh, as autonomous as it is right now, I really think it's good to always have this human touch.
right.
Uh, and
Yeah,
yeah, organizations basically, how we organize communities.
yeah,
Basically communities.
right. And who all can join it? And if you can, talk about your own DAO onboarding. So who can join DAO onboarding, and what do they do there?
Sure. Well, a specification there. I joined the DAO space. The first DAO that I joined is called Bankless DAO, which is pushes a lot of the self-sovereign movement in terms of, learning to use blockchain technology to have full digital ownership of your assets, whether this is tokens, cryptocurrencies, or, for example, content. Now, like for creators, social media, what happens if a platform shuts down? Where does my content go? Can I get it
Yeah,
back? Probably
yeah,
not, right? We've seen cases like this.
yeah,
So, blockchain technology and being able to participate in it through a Web3 wallet helps you have your own content, your own assets, and also like a digital identity, start building it on chain, which gives you this fact of, being self-sovereign. And you probably will have the option of the centralized way of doing things when someone owns the data, owns your assets, et cetera, and you can you're trusting in them to take care of them. But now there's also this other option, which hopefully will be the main one in the future, right? But we are really pushing the fact of being self-sovereign. So this is the DAO where I participated. I still participate.
when was it? If you don't mind telling
Yeah,
us the timeline.
this was I learned about DAOs like in summer of 2021,
Okay.
and I started contributing in October 2021. So it's been 2 years now. Yeah, almost 2 years.
Okay.
A beautiful experience. Everything I know about Web3, I've learned it by participating in the community and Bankless DAO. So after 2 years of onboarding a lot of people, because I contributed as talent coordinator, I contributed as marketing department coordinator, I contributed as sometimes writing a little bit, design. Like the DAO is a place where you can really test any skill set or learn a new skill set,
Right.
or reinforce what you already know by participating in the community and always providing value. So there I got to meet a lot of people at, let's say, at the entrance of the DAO, right? Like, hey, welcome to this space. Here you'll be able to test your skill set, find your own journey, learn tons of new things. And DAOnboarding, which is my first Web3 project, personal project, is related to this. It looks to share the stories of people who are DAO contributors, contributors for many years now. I've met people from one of the first one is actually Marble. He's like 80 years old, contributing to
Wow.
that, was finding, like a new spark in his life, contributing with this global community around certain topics. There's also, people who this has changed their lives in many ways from the most remote parts of the world. So the onboarding, the first episode is live, seeks to probably it can be a community in the future. It can also be a DAO, as you mentioned. But right now it's content creation to, share with the world so people can relate, get
Right.
interested, and just see if it's something that speaks to them as well.
Right. So, Ornella, you mentioned contributing to a DAO, right? So there is an idea or there is a topic which the entire community is passionate about. It's a common thing. What's the second step? How do you contribute to it? In what ways? Can you give us some examples, like this person contributes in that way? If a new member joins, let's say your DAO, in what way they are going to be contributing? So can you give us some examples?
Yeah, absolutely. At least in the example of Bankless DAO,
Yeah.
where it's when my Web3 home. So when you join the DAO, it's the whole journey itself is a mix of, moving forward on your own terms, exploring. You have to have that sense of exploration,
Self
curiosity.
sovereignty. Yeah.
Yeah, and you kind of maybe you're shy at the beginning. I was as well. Like I have to introduce myself. Or like, what should I say? How don't overthink it. Just
Yeah.
go, introduce, be kind. Be accessible, and the community will keep you pushing. It will push you forward.
Yeah.
So at least in Bankless DAO, how it works is again, you do your intro, you share about your skill set, and you share about the things that interest you. For example, the DAO has different operational units depending on the skill set, like writing,
Okay.
writers guild, design guild, marketing department, operations department, project management guild, developer guild. Those like any type of skill set you'll probably find. And if you don't find it, you could start a guild
That's a
on it.
great idea. Yeah.
So yes. So it's a space that you get onboarded to the DAO itself. Then you get onboarded to a the specific area that interests you. And slowly you will be seeing like the workflow, right? You'll observe, you're able to be there.
Yeah.
You can get a guest pass to get into the server just be there, observe, learn. And when you're ready, whenever you feel ready, you can start, contributing. How? There's options. Sometimes there's bounties that is available to take up specific tasks for certain workflows, or you can propose. Maybe you, like me, what I did at the beginning was being a connector. So I saw what was happening. I said, okay, here, this is like, there's a work stream. There's a gap. It's not so smooth. It could be better. I like spoke up and contributed in that specific area. So
Right.
sharing, like, hey, I identified this gap. Can I help you guys build it? Right? Can I, help here? And everyone will tell you like, just DAO it. They said, like, don't ask permission. If you see there's a need, if you feel
Yeah.
that you can provide value there, go for it. Always with respect, with kindness, but just go for it.
Right. And how much does a bounty pays? Because you mentioned, because it's also, when people are, starting something new or they are trying something new, that's the first question that comes to their minds, whether it's sustainable, can it provide some monetization as well? So is bounty, related to any monetary rewards, something like
Sure.
that?
Sure. Absolutely. To understand that part because it's vital.
Yeah.
So when you contribute, at least in Bankless DAO, your reward is a governance token.
Okay.
That governance token, you're able to then vote on proposals to see and support the way the DAO moves forward. Now, there's another area in the DAO, which is more like a launch pad for projects. So let's say you participate in the DAO. You've been there for a while. You have an idea. You can propose a project, and this project is like a mini startup, but it's funded
Okay.
by the DAO, like the initial steps. So, for example, Bankless Academy is one of the projects that was born from within Bankless DAO, which focuses on Web3 self-sovereign education, and the platform itself after a few seasons is now independent and is looking, to find their own way of sustainability. So,
Right.
and when you participate in a project, then yes, you have different options depending on how that project is organized, depending if they receive any funds or revenue, you can get paid in a different way. But your contributions to the DAO are paid or rewarded, right? And the governance token so that you can participate in the ecosystem and make decisions.
Right. So you're basically contributing to the narrative. You are, trying to build the philosophy of the DAO. And like in the best case scenario, you're getting funds for, let's say, starting something which you can collaborate with others, right?
Yeah,
If that's
exactly.
right.
So by being in this immersed in this ecosystem, you will also there's a huge social capital there. So you'll be able to meet people that, probably they get to know you, they know your skill set, and they have an external gig, right? Hey, I need help with copywriting, or I need a design, or
Yeah.
I need to build a website. Can you do the UX UI for me? So that social capital in an indirect way brings you revenue and possibilities. Now, it's not something to build your life upon on, but it's like an extra road that you can take, which I took at the moment, and I decided at some point to transition fully from my Web to my more traditional work
Yeah.
to full Web3 work. Because at the time when you start growing, um, if you do well, if you are consistent, if you're always there, if you show up, right? Because it's a digital world,
Yeah.
you shut down the computer and then no one, knows more about you. So if you show up, if you show consistency, you can earn trust from your peers. You trust them back. So these networks get stronger. You get more visibility. You are invited to contribute in different things. And that is what can, in the end, bring you, a different revenue, a different lifestyle on a more permanent basis. But then again, as I mentioned in the beginning, it depends on you, how much you can, how much you are willing to put the time, the effort, and the vibes. That's
It's amazing vibes that should be there all the time. So if I'm, summarizing it correctly, it's about being consistent. It's about building a social capital. It's about being part of a movement that is building a future. And of course, being self sovereign. You have to take up tasks, you have to be involved and show up, as you said. And yeah, I mean, collaborations, you mentioned that is one of the ways you can earn money. And you also mentioned how you transitioned from Web 2 to Web 3. So let's come to that. Before that, can you give us an overview of your revenue stream right now? How much you're earning? How many resources are there? Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. I can build like a whole picture of different
Yeah.
revenue streams. So by contributing to projects right now is like my main source of income. But I also do from the education side, that will be like one part, right? The second part is mostly about marketing. Since Web3 education is my passion, but my skill set is marketing. So
Yeah.
do a lot of client work where I make connections. And in these type of situations, I can, earn a fee for making, I don't know,
Right.
for example, if a deal goes through, I am able to earn there a percentage for advisory, different, type of client work.
Right. Yeah.
And also I do content, and this content creation, since it's on the blockchain, it's on chain,
Yeah.
people that consume it can also collect it. So there is also like a different and smaller revenue stream there, but could be bigger in the future. Who knows, right? But that's the
Yeah.
beauty of Web3 that allows content creators to put the content out there, and not people just, putting like or supporting it. They can actually buy it or, mint a copy of your content.
Right.
And that gives you funds directly to your wallet. So that is, 3 different ways of monetization. In different categories. Something that's more direct and stable, right? Something that is more intermittent, and something that is, passive and always grateful if it comes, but not 100%, like focused on there. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So, can you give us more details? Like, let's say if I want to, own a piece of content, which is written by you or created by you, how much will I be paying you for one piece of content?
Each creator can decide their price depending, I don't know, on your experience, on the timing. It's totally open to anyone. You can do, for example, through the DAOpunks program, which is a community that pushes people switch from corporate, that you say corporate
Right.
rat, to a DAOpunk, right? Freedom and yeah, just living more in your own terms, right? And with the things that really interest you. Um, I was gifted a grant by the community. The community
Yeah.
voted for my pitch where I shared about this content creation journey. And through that, I was able to, well, the requirement was to on a weekly basis, report or, just more like report, share your journey. So
Yeah.
by sharing the journey through the DAOpunks initiative, every week I shared, okay, I've been thinking about what content should I do. I'm going to, think about the colors, color palette, the design, the branding, the name, how it's going to be structured, how the first content calendar is going to look like, et cetera, et cetera. So through that, I was able to create downboarding. And for example, these weekly reports, I'd say,
Stories, let's call them stories.
yeah, all these weekly, it was a weekly blog.
Yeah.
So there's a platform, then a Web3 gets called a mirror, and I was able to share my content there, mint that blog piece,
Okay.
set a price to it, which at that time I said, okay, I have 2 options, right? Or 3. Just have it free, or I wanted to see if someone actually would support my work, which is
It's
something, a
exciting. Yeah.
very beautiful sensation.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, should I do like 100 copies at 0.001 ETH, or just, a little bit more exclusive, like 10 copies? So because I didn't believe like 100 people would follow my journey. It's still a niche, so maybe in the bull market, but not now. I said, okay, I'll just do 10 at 0.001 ETH. And actually, at the first one, 4 or 5 people collected it. And it was the best sensation ever, just to feel that someone read the whole thing.
Yeah.
It related to them in some way, or maybe they just want to support and, keep pushing you. And those funds directly arrive in my creator wallet. So yeah, that's the beauty of the blockchain. You can have your content there,
Yeah.
right? You own the content. Like it's
Will
literally
be there forever. Yeah.
yours. Yep, it will be there forever. And also you can earn. You give the option to people. It's like, hey, if you support my content, here you can mint it, you can collect it. So it stays in that person's wallet, a copy of it, and the funds go directly to your wallet. So imagine all creators around the world being able to, create content, get paid for it, but not from like a boss. It's the
Yeah.
community that's
It's
is
people who decide. Yeah.
exactly
Absolutely.
your content.
I mean, yeah, it's very exciting. Let's say if a YouTube creator is watching this, they are earning money through YouTube, of course, but that depends on the algorithm of YouTube. They can mint their video, and put it in a blockchain, and then they can go ahead and make money through that as well. So let's expand on this, Ornella, because you talked about making a transition from Web 2 to Web 3. So a lot of creators, of course, majority of them are still in Web 2. So they're listening right now. So how do they make that leap into Web 3? What's the first step? And what is there for them to explore? Because people mostly make decision based on what are they going to do in future, how can they expand. So if you can take all these questions.
Sure. I think the transition is very personal because, if you have, for example, let's say you're already a creator, you have a normal job, 9 to 5, you're probably doing your creation process, after work, during the weekends, hustling, right? And if that goes well, then obviously there's not much time left to make this transition. But if you only have like 30 minutes a day or 1 hour or even, like 5 hours a week, whatever time it is, and you every day learn a little bit about Web3 and decentralization, that is what Bankless Academy is for. It's, a good app to go free and learn about Web3, take the lesson slowly, have your first NFTs as on-chain credentials of your knowledge, your learning journey. You will, move forward every day a little bit more. That's what I did at the beginning. Then slowly I started participating more, getting more opportunities, contributing in a more effective way because it just spoke to me. I felt that I feel right that I'm creating a better, a higher impact. Because it's still kind of the same skill set, right? Marketing communications, but applied to different industries. So before it was the music industry, which I'm very fond of. I love music itself, but I don't love so much, certain aspects of how it is set up right now, right? There's a lot of
Yeah.
intermediaries, and that is something that I would like to see artists thrive more, and also the whole chain of value that
Yeah.
happens, promoters and people during that process. There's a lot of value extraction. And that is why the concept of decentralization and community owned things really sparked in me. Said, okay, this is a higher impact. So slowly, there were times I had to make like much tougher decisions and say, okay, I have a Web2 client, but I just started. I didn't. I wasn't feeling comfortable at some point by working on that. It might sound crazy, but you just have to listen to yourself, your mind, your heart, your gut. If you feel uneasy, it's because there's something good waiting on on the other side of that decision.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
really,
we
it was a
understand, like you mentioned, like it's a very personal decision, value based decision. What do you value? How do you look at the world? How do you look at the systems that are present in the present in this world? But can you give us an example, like what was your first interaction of a Web3 project or your first Web3 gig? Because you were working with Web2 clients.
yeah.
How did you make the transition? How did you find your first Web3 client?
I was for a long time. I was doing both things. So hustling, in the
Yeah.
time, the first contributions I was able to do in the Web3 space were related to translations because my first language is Spanish. I'm from
Okay.
Chile. English is my second one, and now Italian, my third one. And I was able to say, okay, how can I provide value to this community if I'm new here? I don't know what to do. I don't know how they organize themselves. Right. So I checked out Translations Guild. I said, okay, this is something I know how to do. I won't get it wrong. I'll just have to, learn the concepts. And by translating, I actually learned tons. The content that was there, the newsletters, the amazing newsletters from the Bankless publishing team. I saw that content, translating it. I was learning at the same time while I was providing value and also being, rewarded for it at a
Right.
certain level. So that was amazing, and that started to scale slowly. If
Yeah.
you stay there, if you commit, if you show up, uh, the opportunities will come because when you provide value, this is, I guess, the most important part. When you just provide and you give without expecting nothing in return, you would be amazed of the things that come back to you when you just get away from this old school mentality, right? If I'm going to do this, what are you going to give me back? We leave that behind, just provide value and opportunities will come.
Right. That's great. Uh, Speaking again of your revenue streams, we hope that you continue to get more and more bigger piece of pie comes from your, let's say, on chain content. That's what we wish you. But how are you branching out in terms of your future monetization plans on content? What kind of plans work in Web3? That's what we want to learn.
Plans in what sense? Like,
In, let's say, raising your revenue, uh, like you're getting monetized, let's say, how do you keep on doing that? How can you replicate it at a faster level, or you can, in terms of scale, how do you take it to the next level?
I don't think there's a formula for that right now since it's a very open space. It's like in the works. But there's like a lot of good examples of artists, for example, for the music industry that they have found their niche. They have, instead of trying to get their Web2 people to become Web3 natives, they have created a new audience from the Web3 native world.
Okay.
So that's one example, right? Like in my case, I really don't know where it's going. I have a vision, just as I said, giving back, providing content, telling these stories. Hopefully, I don't know, options that can happen is that someone would like to support my content creation journey, same as DAOpunks did with the grant, and support me on a consistent basis or a one-time basis, or maybe we can think about sponsorships. But that will be up to me, to be consistent, to create the content, to provide quality so that it can be of interest of anyone related to the topic of decentralization, blockchain, onboarding, etc., or even individuals. So anyone can contribute to your project. In the Web3 world, there's also a lot of, as I mentioned, like giving. The fact of giving. There's I don't know if you ever heard about Gitcoin or Giveth.
Okay.
When there's like different platforms that incentivize donations. So you can donate through the blockchain funds to different projects that are just starting out or projects that are more established. So that could be an option, of course, of revenue. Like to growth, I just seek to do this content in different languages, provided in a format that is new for people.
Right.
The questions, the quality of the content, the quality of the video. Yeah, it's a new journey for me. I don't know where it will end up, but you can have a vision, but the important thing is to just focus on the closest step.
Immediate step, first step. Yeah.
Sure.
Correct.
Exactly. So you just go there, and then you'll start gaining momentum, and it will fly. But
Yeah.
like how exactly there's a formula plan, not sure. Just be consistent.
Yeah, I mean, consistency is one thing, but for many people it's very scary to not have a very long term vision where they're going in their careers. So Web3 may not be for everyone, but we may have different ways of interacting with it, like Oculus, for example. And you worked with Meta, right, on Oculus. So talk about that experience. What was that about?
Yeah, a small correction there. Were actually Web3 is not related to Meta because Meta is a centralized platform.
Okay.
There's owners, Facebook,
Yeah.
Instagram, WhatsApp, right? And Web3 is all about decentralization. So it uses, it got very confusing at some point because, the metaverse and everyone started thinking that it's blockchain, it's all the same. But no, I mean, Meta is a platform that has content, right? Has different applications, but all the information is centralized.
Centralized.
As
Correct.
in Web3, you use the blockchain for this. And obviously it's different. You own the content. It won't be taken down and you have full property of your content. So, there's no cutbacks and things like that. While I was transitioning to Web3, in this, I was still working in the music industry. And at that time, it was like the pandemic. There were no concerts. There was no external activities. So with the team at that time, we were always looking for more innovative things to do. And at that time, I was able to pitch a project of having like a music club within Meta.
Okay.
And this research that I did to make this happen actually brought me to the world of Web3, where I started like learning about Discord, and I met a friend from Canada who studied computer science, and he was like, "Hey, you're in the music industry. Have you ever heard about NFTs? Because this is going to change it all." That was in 2020. So slowly I started like shifting from Web2 to Web3. So I was looking for immersive music festival, right? In the Web2 world and Meta, through Oculus and the
Yeah.
Metaverse. But the research took me to find something much more deeper and
Okay.
big, which is the fact of, blockchains and decentralization
Okay.
and content creation in this new phase.
Right. So in a way, you're saying that through Oculus, you can see things in the metaverse, but they're not essentially Web3. That's what you're saying?
Like, exactly. Because the content is still within, a company.
Controlled ecosystem. Yeah.
Because if Meta tomorrow is not available,
Yeah.
you won't be able to access your content. With the difference is that on the blockchain, the content, you own it, you have the keys to that. It's a deep topic. Probably our listeners won't understand it at the beginning, but just have in mind that big difference of centralized content, right? That we provide it, but it's not inherently ours. And the difference when we create content on the blockchain, which is totally ours, and we can change platforms, but it will still be ours because it's connected to the blockchain itself. The platform. So let's say you have content in 5 different platforms. None of those 5 platforms, if they close down, will make you lose your content. You will still be
That's
the
true.
owner of it.
Yeah. Do you worry about that day? I mean, where the hegemony of these, big content platforms is going to edge out the individual from this space too, because this is essentially for those who are looking to, do their own thing, decentralized work. But of course, like in every sphere of life and work, these big tech companies also move in. So, what do you think of that?
I think, well, actually, they have tried to integrate. At some point, Instagram integrated NFTs as part of the application. So you could actually connect your wallet and showcase your NFTs on Instagram, but it didn't work. It got shut down because it's just different audiences. I think it's also generational. Like
Okay.
probably Web3 social media is going to take off, it's starting now, but it's going to take off in, I don't know, maybe 10 years or 5 years, who
Right.
knows, or 2. It could be super fast.
Gen
And
X. Yeah.
you will have decentralized options, right? Like, for all content creators that are making, a great living out of this, which is great. Like, don't be scared. I think you're probably going to have, continue to be building because it's what the majority of the world consumes, right? Through the platforms that we know, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, etc. But the good thing now is that there's another option. So as a content creator, you can go in both and test it out because obviously you want to reach, in my case, I want to get more people to know about Web3. I can't just post on Web3 platforms. I have to post on Web2 platforms as well,
Yeah.
such as
True.
YouTube, Spotify, but I just don't focus my income there. Like my income and my revenue streams, I'm totally looking to get them from Web3, right? By providing value, the space will be able to give back to my contributions. But obviously, for the reach, we still have to use the Web2 platforms.
Right. I mean, you talked about, let's say in the next decade, Web3 platforms will also, come to the fore. But what about the next 5 years for you? Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? I asked this question to understand, the evolution of a creator in Web3.
Yeah,
Yeah.
interesting. Like 5 years in the Web3
Yeah.
space, it would be like 15 years because everything moves so fast and there's so much new technologies. But yeah, 5 years, I think it's a good time frame to look forward to. So yes, I see myself very established in the content creation aspect in a consistent basis in different languages, traveling to make these stories, visible to the rest of the world, being also in parallel of building a Web3 marketing agency with some friends, to keep pushing the fact of my skill set. And yeah, just going around the world, providing value, letting people know about this, teaching with kindness, uh, and yeah, making content around that purpose, right? Around that. So I guess in the end, it should feel very natural, just pursue the mission, right? What really drives me to teach people, see them thrive, expand their horizon on knowledge on blockchain, and get the content from those experiences to share them. So it should be something very, seamless and very natural. So yeah, it's a journey. We'll see where it takes us. But yeah, 5 years, I would hope to be for that to be a very smooth process and ongoing process.
Yeah, I mean, 5 years, you rightly mentioned, we are yet to see many, places adopting Web3, especially different parts of the world. So your travels will be super important, I feel. And yeah, I mean, Web3, becoming a Web3 creator is so enticing. It's just that for sure, once the new generation takes it, on themselves to become Web3 creators, people will follow from Web2 platforms. So, speaking of following other people, holiday season is upon us, and shopping is something that we do based on, the taste of other people and the suggestions. That's the part of, being a community person. What is your holiday ritual, and what's one thing that you're looking to, let's say, shop during this holiday season?
Uh, Flight tickets.
Where are you
I
going?
live in Italy. I live in Italy, but my family is in Chile.
Okay.
All my friends are in Chile. So if you ask me if how would I spend holiday seasons, right? Hopefully I could have both of the best of both worlds together, right? Everyone in the same place. It's challenging. Sometimes it's not very easy. But yeah, I would just move, buy plane tickets to be with my loved ones, which I believe is the best gift. And for a lot of content creators that, are around the world, I imagine, that journey of, spending holidays farther away from your family. So yeah, definitely flight tickets to be with my loved ones is my only spending actually. Yeah.
That's the best way of, of course, spending your time with your loved ones is the best way. So, my next question is, when it comes to music, does Onella dream of meta sheep?
Yeah, kind of.
I
Because
clearly didn't, put much of my time into framing this question. So,
yeah, it's a good one. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of thinking, hey, Web3, gets your brain really activated. So it's important to wind down and count sheeps. I can confirm. Especially, I don't know if you saw yesterday, I saw a video of this like sea sheep. It's a sheep that looks like a cartoon. Well, people think they look for it. Yeah, it's very, it uses sunlight, same as plants, to grow. And it lives in the sea.
wow.
It really looks, it looks like a sheep, but it's from the sea. So yeah, between that one and the metaverse one, yeah, definitely. Always thinking about, technology. This space gets you really motivated. So yeah, your mind really flows all the time thinking. So it's important to wind down and
Yeah,
rest. We're sleeping. Yes.
definitely. Whenever I think of, Web3, for some reason, the movie Blade Runner comes to my mind. I don't know, it's so futuristic. It's so, and music is a big part of it. That's why I wanted to ask you that question. Yeah, it's really, strange opportunities, fascinating things are going to come, hopefully.
Sure.
Last ritual that we make our guests go through, Ornella. Who do you want to give a shout out to in a Web3, in the Web3 space? It's just a
Oh,
fancy way of asking, for nominations from you.
yeah, perfect. Okay. I will give a shout out for someone that has really motivated me and has been there really close in the Web3 space, which is Amanda Cassat.
Okay.
She wrote this book that's called Web3 Marketing. So it has been really helpful in the latest part of my journey. I would like to share this with everyone. She's the first marketer that took Ethereum to market. So
Wow.
her story is very interesting. She wrote a great book. I really recommend everyone to have a look at that's something that might interest you, whether you're a content creator or whether you're in the marketing world. I think, yeah, and also that's from more like the skill set side, and from like I would like to give a shout out also to my team at Bankless Academy, Didier and Tetranum, and all of the people in Bankless DAO who have always been very supportive to the DAOpunks community. Well, I can't just choose one person, it's like a whole community. So yeah, I would recommend everyone to, give an opportunity. Web3, stay alert, stay curious, learn about it, don't look away from it because it's not going to stop. So it's good to know whether if you get to be a part of it or not, or if you use it. It could be in the future that you use it, you won't even notice that you're interacting with the blockchain. But it's good if you know the fundamentals, why it's being built, why it's important for the world, and give it a shot, learn about it.
Absolutely amazing. Ornella, thank you so much for coming to the show. Hopefully we get to do this someday in Web3 in, a different setting. So much to learn, so much to look forward to. Wish you all the best. DAOnboarding, DAOpunks, everyone at the Bankless Academy. You're doing a fantastic job. And thanks again.
Yeah, thanks for this great interview. I hope it was valuable for everyone and for you guys. All right, take care.
Yes, please let us know what do you think of this episode. Get in touch with Ornella if you want to learn about Web3, and do give us a subscribe. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
And cut. That's it for today's episode, guys. If you really liked it, please subscribe to the 1000 Faces Club and press the bell icon below so that you don't miss any videos from us. Thank you.